guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. So thank you for tuning back in. I'm really pleased to be able to bring you another San Martin. This one is the SN0106-G. So many different model numbers to talk of now. This is a slightly different iteration of sort of the stuff they were doing before. This is one of their vintage pieces. Again, they just keep pushing the envelope now, don't they, in terms of their finishing. It's almost like they're in competition with themselves at this point. Doing some excellent stuff there. There's a good reason that San Martin's the preferred watch buyer on AliExpress, just because of some of the stuff that they produce. You'd have seen in my state of the collection not long ago how many San Martins I own. I review watches, so I'd like to think I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about a decent watch, and I own a few of them, so it tells you quite a lot. Would this one be a keeper? Would this one be the one I flip? Would it be one for you? And I guess there's no time like the present to find out. I will leave a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so please feel free to use it. It doesn't cost you any more money. But as I always say, by the time you get to the end of the video, hopefully you'll know if it's for you or not. With that being said, let's get the camera turned around and get on with it. Alright guys, so this is the watch. Yes, you're going to notice the packaging straight away. Bit disappointing actually. I did have a problem with the watch. Had to send it back. They asked me to send the whole lot back. We sorted out postage and stuff. They were really good, very prompt at getting back to me and sending out the new one. The only thing they omitted to do was include it in the usual packaging, or even send me another warranty card for the watch. So that was a little bit disappointing, and something I will touch upon in a bit, given a couple of things. But here's the watch. Just to give you a quick look inside. You've got the spring bar removal tool, little screwdriver. I've taken a couple of links out for it to fit my wrist, and this is just a bit of foam that the watch was sitting on when it arrived. But yeah, the case, you'd have seen this case many times in the past. I do quite prefer the new one though, although it does that one does do the job. But yeah, this is the watch. It's familiar looking, but different, given the hands and stuff and given the bezel. But yeah, the model number for this is the SN0106-G. Inside, it's running an automatic Seiko NH35 movement. I'll bring some information up about that movement now. You would have seen this movement many times. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, given that I get a lot of these movements in, and as do other reviewers. And I'm sure many of you have got this movement kicking around in some of your watches also. 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour, 40-hour power reserve, all the good stuff. Rugged, reliable, and as I've said numerous times also, there's a good reason they use this in a lot of their watches, just because it's a real workhorse of a movement and does the bizzo. So yeah, that's the movement. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal, is all 316L stainless steel. Nice brushing, polished at the sides, faceted edge going through the case. The rest of it is brushed. Nice, highly engraved crown there, which we're getting a bit used to now from San Martin. Clasp also brushed, nice hexagonal logo, brushed at the sides, faceted edge going around the side, down the edge of the case, brushed inside, as is the case back. So yeah, nice brushing, nice polished elements, and the polishing doesn't finish. It's also on the bezel, which you've got like a little step and a step to the crystal. I actually quite like it. Wasn't sure what it would look like, but yeah, it looks very cool. So yeah, that's the construction of the watch. The case thickness of the watch is 12.9 millimeters. The case diameter, measured from the 8 to the 2 ordinarily, was coming at 37.2, and when you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it was coming at 40.2 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20. That does taper down to 18, excuse me, back up to 16, back up to 18 mil at the clasp. Getting a bit too ahead of myself. I was a bit surprised because usually it does go from 20, 18, back up to 20, but this goes from 20 to 16, back up to 18 mil at the clasp. And the lug to lug, tip to tip, which is nice to see. They've got a few more links to the center link, does make it 45.4 millimeters. So nice dimensions on this, nice proportions. Yeah, good size. I do like watches not being too big, because I don't have the biggest wrist in the world, even though I'm not a small lad. So that's the dimensions. The case back, you'd have already seen, it's a screw down case back. These ones do make it a little bit difficult to get hold of because there's no indentations, but it is stainless steel, and this is becoming quite familiar with the watches they produce. The bezel I've already sort of spoken about, given the fact it's a fixed bezel. It's all high polished, but there's 2 steps. You've got the first step, then the second step of the polished bezel, and then that leads on to the crystal. I actually quite like it. I think it works really well. Wasn't sure what it'd be like in practice, but that's what it looks like. Give me a moment, guys. Let me just give it a quick wipe. So yeah, there we are. So yeah, like I said, the bezel looks cool. I've did it a couple of times. So yeah, that looks nice. And the crown is situated at 3 o'clock. I've already showed that to you. And it's a screw down crown. Also, strap, nice bracelet, tapers down nicely, brushed at the top, so I said, polished at the sides, fully milled clasp. It's got 4 levels of micro adjustment for you to get the perfect fit you like. As you said, a little bit coarser brushing on the sides and at the top. Yeah, fully milled as I mentioned. And the crystal covering the dial is quite a pronounced bit of domed sapphire crystal, as you would have seen. Nice bit of domage on there. Looks nice, and as I said, in keeping with the bezel, I think it works really, really well. In fact, so yeah, nicely done. And the water resistance, you'll see on the dial also, is also cited as being 200 meters. So that'll give you 20 atmospheres of water resistance. Not certified, but that's what they're stating it has at this point. And the weight will appear in the top right. It's just above 131 grams with 2 links out. With those 2 links back in, you're probably looking at sort of 140 grams, which is a decent bit of weight for the size of watch it is. Let me just give it another quick wipe, guys. 2 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so that's all that. So let's have a look at the dial now, guys, in a bit more detail. So I'll just tilt the glass slightly because it is sort of playing a bit. I know there's a bit of AR coating on there, but possibly not enough. Nothing's been applied onto the dial. It's all been printed on. Inverted triangle at 12, battens at 369, circular battens everywhere else. You've got the San Martin and script logo on here. I think given the nature of the watch, I think it actually works really well rather than a hexagonal logo. Just above the batten at the 6, you've got 200 meters, 660 feet automatic. And you've got faux patina on the hands. You've got the indices. And that is also lume filled, so I'll bring that up now, give you a quick look at what the lume looks like. Not bad lume actually, reasonable to good, excellent perhaps some might say. I think it was good actually. Yeah, I think it's doing a good job for the fact it's not a sports or dive watch anyway. This is for me is a more of a dressy piece. Yeah, like I said, matte black dial with a faux patina. That seems to be sort of in thing at the moment with a lot of brands. And with this, I think it works really well. I do like the faux patina anyway. You've got gold hands as well to sort of complement. That's high polished gold. Hand winding is obviously what you get with this movement. You take it out to the second position, it will hack. Unfortunately, yeah, yet again, you'll hear there's a ghost position given it's a fact it's at N835 with a no date on the dial. But yeah, hacking and hand winding, you can charge it up by twisting it away from you. If you push it in and twist it away from you, you can screw it back up to the case. And it works really well. So that's the dial, guys. That's the movement. Let me just pop it on the wrist quickly. Give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. Okay, so my wrist is just above a 7-inch wrist, as you know. And that's what it looks like on my wrist. It looks very reflective under the lighting. But no problems with legibility. And generally, I think there's just about enough AR coating on there. But that's what it looks like, guys and girls. So that would now take me on to what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you know I always start with pants. I like to go on high with pucker. So what I think is pants, yeah, you're going to know I'm going to mention the ghost position. I've said it so many times now. I'm really hoping brands stop doing that. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's necessary. I think that it doesn't need to be happening at this point. The QC issues. So I'll bring some pictures up now of the watch that I originally received. I contacted them. It looked like there was a hair under the dial. They said that in fact it looked like part of the dial would come off. And the reason I'm mentioning this, guys, isn't so much because of the customer service I received. It's because I'm finding with certain watches now from San Martin, unsigned warranty cards, issues being there that weren't there before, screw pins, this happening. I do think it will touch upon what I'm going to say next in terms of complacency. So you've got the QC issues and the complacency. I do think, in my opinion, I like San Martin, but I do think they're beginning to rest on their laurels a little bit. So San Martin, if you do watch this, please let's not let that happen. You've worked far too hard to establish your brand to be letting these little things creep up. So yeah, they're the three things I'd mention. I'd go with the ghost position, QC issues, and complacency. What I think is Pukka is I do like the sapphire crystal, and I especially like the sapphire crystal in terms of how it works with the bezel. I think that looks very cool. The hands, nice gold hands, high polished hands, complementing the faux patina. The lume, as I already mentioned, yeah, I will say given the style of watch, I think the lume is very good. The size of the watch itself and the proportions is really, really nice. Makes it, again, a unisex watch. The bezel, I mentioned, I do like that. I like the way it's steps, and then steps to the crystal. I think that's really cool, different, not really seen that before. The crown, yeah, nice size, nice engagement, nice pop when he comes away from the case. And the bracelet, I do like this bracelet, nice satiny brush, really nice, done very, very well. So yeah, I would have normally mentioned the Clasp, but I've said it so many times now. The Clasp on St. Martin watches are doing the business as well. So yeah, just to surmise what I think is Pukka, as I'll go with the sapphire crystal, the hands, lume, size, bezel, crown, and bracelet are what I think is Pukka. And would I recommend the watch? I would. I do like this watch. I do like St. Martin. Like, I just don't want them to become lazy and rest on their laurels, as I said. But I do think this is a nice watch. As I said, a couple of the things that I mentioned are things that happened to me with this watch. Otherwise, the ghost position would have been the sole thing. So it tells you it's a nice watch. And for in and around sort of £150, perhaps, maybe with coupons a bit cheaper, I think this is an outstanding finished watch that looks to business. So, yeah, I would. But guys and girls, please let me know what you think about this watch more importantly. And maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and always watch your time. Take care, guys. All the very best.